Be getting ready to go in 1 second, folks. Okay. Thanks everyone for joining me. I am Josh Spicer, owner of Game Wisdom, and welcome to another episode of Game Wisdom Examines. This week we are playing Prison Architect. Now, last week I was going to look at Invisible Ink, and I was still thinking about that today, but yesterday it turns out that Introversion released the latest alpha for Prison Architect, and I figured that would be a great time to get into it. So, for those of you who haven't heard of this game, as I said, this is Prison Architect, developed by Introversion Software, and this has sort of become the the poster child of early access. The game is currently at Alpha 29 and has had over 2 years worth of development. So, if you're watching this recorded on YouTube, please keep in mind that they do update the game at least once a month, so this may not be the most accurate version of the game if you're watching this in a few months or whatever. But hopefully I'll be able to do this again when the game is going to be coming out. I believe they said sometime in 2015. So, to get things going, I kept the game on pause because there's actually a lot to talk about, and it's one of the reasons why I wanted to look at it in these series of videos. Prison Architect is sort of Introversion's attempt at mirroring what's called the Bullfrog style of game design. Bullfrog referring to the studio, actually just the studio Bullfrog back in the 90s, back when people still trusted and loved the name Pierre Molyneux. The studio put out a variety of sim management style games that, while not completely realistic and accurate, still had a lot of depth to what you could achieve. Some of the big ones were Theme Park and Theme Hospital. So, let's get things going here. The basic objective of the game is you're building a prison, and you can decide how brutal or how benevolent you can be based on your policies. And part of the charm of the game is that there's a lot of different layers of how you will manage this prison. So, let's start with this. This is the CEO letter. This is what you get at the start of every game. And I'll just leave this up on the screen for a minute while you guys can read it. Okay. And one of the things about Prison Architect is that it can be a little tough for newcomers to get into it. The developers have been building on the game for so much over the months that they haven't really looked at the early stages, or just in terms of teaching someone how to play the game. They've been doing some efforts with some of the grants, which we'll talk about in a minute. So, 1 second, I just want to change my Steam thing because I keep getting little pop-ups. There we go. Now, to get things going, let's look at some of the UI features of the game. This is, of course, your time, and you can speed up here. And the time is important because it shows you what your daily activity is that's going on. So right now this will be the shower time, but we can alter that later on in the game. Here's what day we're on, our current bank balance, and this is our daily expenses. So right now we're going to get plus $840 a day, but this will be changing very quickly once we start building things and hiring people. These are features that will unlock once we get awarded, which we will do right now because it's pretty easy. There we go. There's our little Warren guy right there. Oop, made 2 of them. There we go. Now that the Warren is on, we can look at the bureaucracy screen. This is basically the research. This lets us see what we can unlock. And this has gone through a few revisions over the alphas. There's some things on here that just had no purpose, but now everything on here will give you something. So the first thing we generally want to do is get finance. That's this lady right here. Okay, now there's definitely a lot to cover here, which sort of makes it a little tricky trying to figure out where to start with. So we'll go with the report screen, but we're going to return to this a lot during this play. This is basically your whole UI for managing your prison. Here's our staff members. These are our prisoners, which right now we have no one. I'll be coming back to this in a few minutes. Jobs, what's going on. Needs, again, that's something that will be later on. The regime, this is where we manage the schedule. As you can see right now, it's 8:05, so this will be considered a shower. And then what you can do is you can control this however you want. You can give them more sleep, less sleep, you can make them work. And you'll be able to manage things, and this will sort of determine how your prisoners are going to react. Because if you don't give them a lot of free time or food, they won't be too happy with you. Okay, policy is another thing we'll be coming back to. Now grants, this is the important part for new players, because these are all the objectives or goals that you can aim for. And this is sort of a way of framing your play. Now, programs is another part of this. This is another advanced part, which we may or may not get to during this play. But let's start building some things and we can get things rolling. So first, you're going to go here. And generally, I like to build an office complex just for all the people. Okay. Now, this objects panel right here, this is context sensitive to whatever you have currently on the screen. So right now it's showing me things that would be important for a building. But if I come to another place, it will change. So let's set this up. We'll unpause it here. And here come our work crew. These are our first set of employees, and their job is to build everything we have. While that's going on, I'm also going to build a utility building, which we'll talk about in a second. Now, it's important to talk about these doors, because this will sort of lead into how you're going to be managing your prison. A basic door will let anyone in and out. Solitary jail and large jail doors will only open for guards. A staff door can be opened by anyone who works at the prison. And remote doors are advanced stuff that we may get to later. So, since these buildings can be accessed by anyone, we're just going to use staff and regular doors. There are all our jobs now lining up there. We'll talk more about the prisoners after the first day, but let's talk about these grants. So these two grants are pretty much the ones you want to start with, because these are just the bare bones for getting your prison up and running. Okay, they're building that there. We'll hire some guards to get ready for prisoners tomorrow, and a few more workmen just to help speed things up. Okay. These are materials you can use to either change what people will walk on, or fences and walls to keep them in, which for a prison obviously is very important. Okay. These are emergency services in case you need them for whatever reason. This is the utility screen, which we'll be looking at in a minute. This is where you'll set up power and water and how it will flow throughout your prison. Rooms, this shows you all the possible rooms that you can have your buildings assigned to. Now these rooms are highlighted or have a white outline to show how important they are to our current goals. Alright, let's speed things up a little bit, get these buildings constructed. we want to get power up first. And water. These capacitors let you basically give more power to a single generator. Okay, we'll let them go for a second here. Alright, while they're doing that, I'm also going to start getting the basics for the detention center going, because people will be showing up in 1 day's time. So first thing we need is a place for them to go while we wait for jail cells. And for those of you watching this will most likely not be the perfect prison, because I'm going to be just throwing these together, trying to get things going just to show you everything. Looks like power is almost up here. There we go. Now to get power, we need to connect the electrical cable. So let's do that here. And we'll be doing the same to the water in 1 minute. Okay, now in order to assign a room, you just go to the rooms here, and we're going to set an office. Now when you mouse over, you can see the requirements for that room. So this requires 4x4 space, office desk, chair, filing cabinets, and of course be indoors. Now, you can of course make small buildings and assign each one an office that way. I just generally do this just to make it quick and easy. Okay, now we just gotta fill this with objects. Now as you can see, the objects are now highlighted to show these are the ones that we need. And we'll assign this room to be our holding cell up here. Some water. Now there's two ways to move water, either through large pipes or small pipes. The large pipes will carry more water, but it gives prisoners a chance to crawl through them Shawshank style. Shawshank's my mistake. So you generally want to use the small pipes to actually reach what you want to connect to, and the large pipes to basically around the compound itself. Now that the warden has taken the office, you can see that our finance upgrade is going through here. So in 4 hours and 44 minutes, we'll unlock that. Now one of the best parts about the game is the fact that you can basically build these any ways that you want. So some people have built the entire place fenced in. I generally like to go for this approach just to make it easier when it comes to expanding. Now, when you're putting objects in these buildings, you can put whatever you want in there, but you just need the minimum of what the building type requires in order for it to function. So we could put a few beds in here, we could give them some phones, make them feel generally happy. But we're just going to leave it like this because we're going to move pretty quickly. Here's our yard. We'll give them some weights and a phone. We'll tear down these walls just to let them in. And this will be our first jail cell here. Alright, things are moving along pretty quickly here. We'll also set up buildings for feeding as well. So while we're waiting for things to get done, there really aren't any true objectives of the game or things to play for. You generally want to just keep your prison functioning and turn out prisoners who won't basically get themselves recommitted. But they have been doing more in terms of adding the late game with the rooms like parole hearings and your prison's grading. Gotta wait for that to get done. This is generally the slow part of the game as we're waiting to get everything we need built. Okay, I can hire my accountant now. And I'm just gonna put a little room in for her. And once the office is finished here, I will have completed the administrative center grant, and I will get my additional $5,000 I can use towards whatever I want. Okay, it's almost time. The grant just finished. There's my additional 5,000. Up, and prisoners are going to be coming in less than 2 hours. just gotta finish the shower up here. Make sure we got water coming in. Okay, we'll deal with food next. While that's happening, let's check bureaucracy and see what's coming. Okay, security's on its way. Maintenance, there we go. Maintenance lets us add these features down here. Cloning, which lets us copy a room and basically place it in another area. That's really useful for making cells. Groundskeeping to keep the place outside clean, janitors for keeping the inside clean, and prison labor allows us to use the prisoners to basically work in certain jobs, and it will save us money. But again, that's going to be a later game thing. Alright, our prisoners here? Okay, we got prisoners. So let's stop for a second. We'll talk a little bit more about these guys here. So each prisoner has their own biography, which shows, what they did, how much time they have, how much time they've served, and this lets us assign what we want them to be considered. So we got minimum security, normal, max, protective, and supermax. We can talk about punishment here. We can search their cell, search them, and all these choices will affect how they react. Here's their experience, what they've been doing, and grading. This shows basically how they are, how they feel and how they've been treated. And it's based on punishment, reform, security, and health. And these 4 factors will determine their estimated chance at reoffending when they get out. And that will affect your actual score. Okay, prison grading, we haven't done anything there yet. Okay, let's get another grant in the meantime. We'll go for, let's see, staff room. Okay, 1 second here. Okay, now that we have prisoners, I can talk a little bit more about this screen. This shows what type of prisoners will be allowed in your prison, either normal risk, low risk, or high risk. This determines basically how dangerous the actual prisoner is, and the greater chance that they would cause trouble. So low risk are like, street hoodlums, stuff like that. Normal risk may be robbers, and high risk may be like gangsters and possible supervillains and stuff like that. Now the other part about this is higher risk and normal risk will have a chance of having special perks or reputations that will give them unique abilities, such as less likely to be pacified and stuff like that. Now the risk versus reward is that the higher risk prisoner you have, the more money you'll receive each day to keep them contained. But you don't really want to start with high risk. So we'll go with low and normal for right now. Okay, there's our guards moving them in. Okay, is this working? And this is kind of one of the issues sometimes with the game that I notice, as sometimes they don't clear out the walls sometimes. So let me just pop that there. Okay, they're doing that. We'll set up the kitchen and the canteen. This will allow us to feed, and of course we're going to need cooks. Now, you notice that some of these buildings are grayed out. That's because there is a fog of war, sort of, that you won't be able to see anything unless there is someone already in there. Again, those handy pop-ups let us know what is needed. So, we'll get a sink. A fridge. And the cookers basically are how many... The more cookers you have, the more food can be prepared. Oh, so I've got some mildew. We'll need to get that janitor built soon. Now, as you can see, we can't exactly see what's going on in our holding cell because there's no one in there. So we can tell the guard to move over there. Because, of course, you don't want to leave your prisoners unattended. Let's see this here. Okay, now they're going to the yard because that's the time we have set up here. We'll get this started here so we can start building our cells. Okay, now the cell is really the most monotonous, I think, part of the game right now and why cloning is so useful. Let's see, is it done yet? No, not yet. Oh, it looks like I forgot to hire the maintenance foreman here. Let's get him his little office here. Okay. And we'll hire a few more guards as well. And our chief here. Yeah, I'm just throwing the objects around willy-nilly now. Doesn't really matter. Okay. That is done there. And new features popped up down there, logistics, which we'll talk about in a second. Okay, logistics is where we can see how everything is flowing around our prison. This is where we can send prisoners here to work there once we have some trained. You can see how food is distributed. As you can see, there's no meals being cooked because the sink isn't done yet, but it should be finishing up any second. Okay. And now that we have the guard set up, the security chief, we can now set up where our guards will be. So this allows us to paint where prisoners can and cannot go. So, as you can see, everything is pretty much open at the moment. Okay, let's finish the kitchen up now. Another important part is making sure your prisoners don't take anything out, which is where contraband checks come in. And one thing that help with that is a metal detector. Alright, they're in there. There we go, clone finished. So now that'll make it a lot easier to set up our cells. Okay, every cell needs a bed. Give them a nice little bookcase just to give them something to do. And then we will surround them. Okay, as you can see, we have prisoners coming here. The danger ring, thanks to our security chief, shows how prisoners feel. If it gets too high, so it gives us the idea that they may be a riot. So let's start setting things up here. We'll give them a little bit more sleep. This will, of course, can be changed based on however you feel. Connect to our power grid. Okay, so now that the cell is finished, let me just get more. I can now clone it, as so. One second. There we go, I can just hold this here. Now I can place this wherever I want. Now I can't rotate, which is a bit of a pain, so I will have to redesign it. There we go. You can manually open doors as well, make it easier. So now we got our first prisoner all nice in his cell. Now you can see where it says volatile. So let's go here and see what that means. So reputations are sort of like their character perks. So this guy is more likely to go crazy, and other prisoners will have more dangerous reputations. Definitely not the most perfect jail cell. As you can see, there's a lot of empty space here, but we'll leave it like this for now. Let's finish the water here. And then we'll build a few more cells. Let's see, do we have anything else being researched? Cloning is there. Prison policy, we'll get deployment and prison policy next. Prison policy allows us to assign punishments and set our nutrition. Deployment lets us permanently station guards, which will make it a lot easier to manage things. Also throw cleaning in, because what the hell? And here come our next wave of prisoners. As you can see, these guys are gray, which means these are lightly security, so they're not going to be too bad. That's kind of one of the little annoying things with the games, just trying to manage everything in these little tight spaces. But we'll build another prison, another jail cell soon. Let's see, what's our time check? Time's moving pretty quickly here. Let's see what's going on up here. We have prisoners eating their food. We can check out how things are going. Okay, so this is showing where the food is coming in at, and who is, of course, eating it. As you can see, everyone has gotten their meals, which is good. Now, for feeding people, you'll need more ovens and more cooks as your prison will grow. And just for the hell of it, let's set to get some heavy guys here. So, let's open it up to high risk next. Okay, they're having their little fun there. Let's see, how is our bureaucracy going? Let's get some janitors here as well. I'll put a little janitor closet as well for them. And we'll build a staff room that will get that grant done as well. Just gotta figure out where to put it. Guess we'll put it over here. And while that's going, we'll also build another cell wing. I'll make this one a little bit bigger. And let's see, is this almost done? Deployment's done. Contraband check, patrolling, another useful one. And education, health, and psychology will be used for further goals. Now, as you can see, you can also get some heavy guards, dogs, and lovely tasers as well. This will be useful once you start getting in the high-risk people. Remote access lets us set up CCTV and closed-circuit monitoring, which will allow us to automatically open doors and manage the prison while having guards stationed all over the place. So we might want to get the armory, since we are going to have some heavy guys coming in soon. Okay, they're eating there. And now that we can station guards, let's do that now. So we have, up here you can see we have 4 guards available out of our 5. So let's place one guy here, one here, one in there to watch, and we'll place another one in here once it's finished. Okay, these are red because there's no direct line to get in there yet, but we will fix that now. Okay, let's see. What else can we do at the moment? Okay, while that is going, it looks like we need to get that saffron finished, and we got visitors who would like to come in. If we don't let visitors essentially meet their prisoners, that can also raise our danger levels. We'll need to get that straightened next. What's interesting about the game, what I like about it, is how there's so many little moving parts going on. As you can see, we are getting deliveries of items for our cupboard. Meanwhile, our construction crew is building our next wing of our prison. And we'll make this a little neater in a moment. As you can see, they're getting a little tired because they've been working all day. But we'll be fixing that once this room is done. While that's going on, let's see if there's any more reputations we can find. Okay, oh, this guy's deadly. Let's see what that means. Oh good, he can kill in a single hit. So if things do get out of control and this guy starts attacking, he may be able to take out a lot of guards. Let's increase the speed a little bit just while these two buildings are getting done. I want to stop for 1 second while I go back to Broxy and see what is happening. Okay, contraband's almost done. We'll get health. And let's get psychology so we can see how our prisoners are doing. Land expansion allows us to buy more plots and raise the size of our prison. These allow us to get more grants, loan, tax relief, and offshore when you want to essentially end the game. Alright, they're moving pretty quickly there. Is this done? Alright, let's give them. And we'll throw him a TV as well, what the hell. Got a trader staff well, right? As you can see, he is resting and his little bar here is growing. Alright, we'll do the same thing. We'll have a little shower area for them here. Alright, our prisoners are coming in an hour. So we'll see what the maximum or the heavy risk guys will be like in a minute. Okay, oh, forgot to door that up here. Well, that is a horrible cell. It messed up so much. Okay. Let's speed things up. Probably need to hire some more guards once they arrive. As you can see, our cash flow just went up dramatically because we have a bunch of new guys and they don't look that nice. Oh, he's extremely deadly. Prisoner, okay. Fearless, that's good. So he's less likely to surrender and he can kill people easily. That's great. They should be fun to have around. Okay, sounds like something is done. Let's hire a few more guards. I think we're going to need them. There we go. See anything else finish? No. No. Okay, we'll build a visitor center. Okay, they're going to be cooking. Let's hire another chef as well. Oh, wait a minute. Looks like we got some trouble. Oh, what the hell? Oh, looks like our our heavy prisoner just killed someone. And whenever there's any deaths or anything like escapes, that will affect your prison grade. Let's see, how are we doing? I don't know, we can't do anything with that yet. Janitor may have to do something there. And this is actually good that there is some conflict now, because originally the game was very easy to basically build a quick prison and then you were done. You can just sit back and watch. You can see why this guy was killed. He was a snitch. There we go. Of course, we didn't catch that because we weren't able to check reputations until it was too late. Oh, here comes the Hearst to get him out there. But we better get some more cells built soon. Yeah, cloning can be a little finicky sometimes, so I've gotten used to just quickly putting things together this way. It's the first time we actually had a riot like this. Let's see what happens. Oh, he killed the janitor. As you can see, they've now been punished. We need to build some solitary and lockdown. Man, they really... Oh, we got someone to escape, too. Alright, I think with that, we are actually coming up on the hour. Let's see. Well, let's play for a little bit longer and try to get a little bit more. Maybe I can show you some of the... Get some heavy cops in there to take care of things. Oh man, so much damage. Let that be a lesson. Do not put in heavy risk guys in until you start getting some decent stuff. So let's get these cells out of the way. Need a bed in there too. Okay, please tell me my armory is almost done. Oh, we still need a lot of time left for that. These guys don't look too happy. And I think what we'll do as well is let's close that high risk up. Let's see, where is our main? I've completely forgot about our visitor center. Let's get that up here. And while that's going, we'll get some solitary built for those annoying guys who just try to kill everyone. Remove tunnels. In case we don't see it this time, this is for when you need to repair any tunnels that have been built. But let's get some solitary, because I think we're going to need it. Yeah, just one little spot there, that's all you get. In the hole. Okay, that is almost done. Let's manually open these doors to get them working. Let me move the clock down a little bit here so you can see that better. This shows how many prisoners we have and how many we can actually hold. So we have 20, but we only have safe room for 10. Now our danger is going down. Oh no, now what? Oh no. How are they getting out? Let's see. guards are not doing a good job today, aren't they? Yep, he's gonna make it out. I could use some guard dogs as well. Maybe we should extend this out. Oh, come on, close the door. Come on, guys, get that fixed. Things are just going to hell, aren't they? Look at this. Yeah, about time. Fix that. Please tell me the armor is almost done. He's researching it. So much trouble those high-risk guys cause. What is going on down there? Okay, that's almost done. So much damage. Okay, those doors are finally fixed. Okay, we need medical attention as well. Okay, they're eating. Okay, while that is going on, let's see, we can check. Here we go, contraband. This is another useful screen for when you're trying to figure out the parts of your prison you want to be very careful of. So these show items that the prisoners can take and use. So you can see we got some weapons. They're demanding weapons. So let's see. Got poison up here, club, knife, so we gotta be really careful up here. And we can also do contraband checks to make sure they're not holding anything. Okay. Psychologist is done. Let's give them an office as well. Sleeping. Yeah, this is one of those weird things. Like, even though there's openings, sometimes it takes a while for them to actually build. Again, like right here. There's a spot, but they're not going to it. Either our psychologist, and we can sort of see more about them. So we got experience, biography. Let's see. Here we go. We can see his needs. So right now you can see that his needs for recreation are good. Comfort is rising now that he's sleeping. Freedom and literacy are somewhat up. And this will determine how happy they are. Now, as you can see, different prisoners have different needs. So this guy needs spirituality. This one needs comfort. Okay, is this done yet? So another metal detector in case someone tries to smuggle some things in. And what you can do is you can click this little plus that will extend it out so we can see more. So where is the metal detector? There it is. Okay, minimize that. Speed that up some more. So we'll need to set this up here. Oh, danger factor is rising. Probably because there's more prisoners coming. Right, he's still in solitary there. There comes some more prisoners. Hopefully they won't cause too much trouble. Poison. Ooh, extremely strong. Let's see what he does. Hits harder. Quick. Moves quick, of course. Volatile, we know of. Alright. Our visitor room is now open. Okay, this will be where we want to buy more land so we can extend out this way, this way, this, or this. Alright. And let's station a guard here. Alright, finally got the armory up, so now we can get some armed guards in here. And health as well. Tasers are always nice. And dogs. Alright, armory is very expensive, as you can see. We're kind of running low on cash, so we won't be able to do too much of that. As you can see, this guy, we let him out, he's going to pretty much come right back in. And here's the family visiting. Now, as you can see, this guy was just let out here, even though we really don't want him to come this way. So, what we can do to fix that is right here. What we're going to do is set this so only staff can come this way. This will keep them from sending any guards or any prisoners. Now, this guy was just caught with contraband, so he's being searched. Oh, and he found a screwdriver on him, which is great for someone who's deadly, so he will have to be punished. Okay, let's set this up here. As you can see, this is a pretty big design for all of our prison. All the visitors are wandering right through our front where all the guards are, and prisoners. That's not that smart. Oh, someone else. Oh, same guy. Okay, let's see how we're doing in terms of food. Alright, we're still good with food. Our supply is meeting the demand. Let's see if we can get this cloning thing to work this time. Of course, this isn't finished yet. We'll let that finish up, and then we'll clone that. Okay, there's our lunch. Looks like we better build a little hospital wing as well. There, where to fit? We can just build it right here for now. And let's get another grant. That should also give us some more money. Okay. Now, as you can see, now we got more of our logistics open. We can change the regime based on normal, mid, max, or even the new super max, which for when we said really dangerous prisoners. So we can do that as a little reminder. So let's see, this guy. Let's set him at super max. This is sort of a way for us to identify and group the prisoners, make it easier for us to organize and keep the more dangerous guys segregated from the lesser guys. I know we've gone over the hour for recording. There's just so much with this game that we can do. So, let's see. I'm trying to figure out what's a good stop point. Let's do this here. Okay, that's finishing up there. Let's get another grant out of the way. There you go. So now you can see how we can alter our regime based on the prisoner type. So let's say, for example, with our Supermax guys here, we want them to eat differently than our normal security. We can set that up this way. So as you can see, they're going to eat at this time while everyone else will be in the yard. So we could actually do that right now as an example. So let's switch this around. So as you can see, these guys are going to be different than the rest of our prison. And as I said, this is one of the better things about Prison Architect, is how you can really control all the aspects of it. Okay, they're finishing that up there. Hopefully they'll get that done. And I keep forgetting to do the grant. There's so many different screens now, it's a little bit confusing, so let's get Medal Award. That should be done very shortly. We'll need some doctors as well. Out there. Okay, now advanced parts of this game while we're waiting for things to get done is setting up teaching, and that will be through these programs. Programs, as you can see, have different effects. We could set things up here. And in order to get prisoners to work around your prison, you need to get them to do these special ones, but they require the prison labor upgrade or research. Okay, let's see what we can do here. Okay. Let's set the time slot here. Okay, let's set up some work. Free time, there we go. And we'll set up another work down there. That will allow us to do these programs. There we go. Is this done yet? Okay, let's see what will happen now. Speed that up. As you can see, now that we don't have as many extreme prisoners, we can somewhat rest easily. Let's see how we're doing. Uh-oh, got trouble. He escaped. Of course, because our staff haven't finished this yet. This is kind of one of my little complaints with UI, that I would like to have jobs basically prioritized like this, just to prevent things from happening. Let's see. Okay, OD, that's not good. Now, where's our frickin' workers? These guys are getting really nasty. Let's see, how's our power doing? We're still good there. Infirmary is now up. Looks like things are finally starting to calm down. I know one thing that will really help. We need to get an armory up and get some armed guards. Now, right here, the execution room, this is mainly in the tutorial game that I haven't shown you, but there really isn't any use for it right now, and we're still not sure if Introversion will have that in there. The library and parole and chapel are 3 new rooms that you can have. I don't know, we'll get to them in this play. Security is for when you want to monitor. Common room is for your prisoners to have some more free time. Kennel for the dogs. And the morgue wherein people, of course, die. Okay, we need to get this up here before people wake up. set up a patrol as well. So to set up patrol, what you do is you first draw the line that you want. And then we're going to click on it and add a guard here. We're going to do the same thing in here. Let's make sure people aren't doing anything crazy in these cells. And we can only have as many armed guards as we have these lockers. There we go. That should help us if there's any more trouble from these guys. Let's get our armed guards patrolling as well. Let's get him out. Armed guy here. And armed guy here. This should stop any more rioting now that these guys have shotguns and they can kill your prisoners. As you can see, they don't like having armed guards, because it's not nice to be walking around while there's shotgun-wielding guys around. But after all the trouble that's been going on, we're not going to be too worried about that. Now, as you can see, the water is not making it all the way. That's because we're using too many smaller pipes. That should fix that. And we might as well get this shower while we're just sitting here. Let's see what's going on with our food. Okay, now as you can see, we have more supply than we have demand. So let's see, we'll add another cook, or another cooker. That should fix that. Let's see, how's our program going? Okay, so 5 to 7 is when they're going to meet with our psychologist, see if we can calm these guys down. Okay, we'll also do that one there. Now, as you can see, we have 2 schedules going on up here, as our max guys are going to be going to the yard while everyone else will be eating. Now, more complicated prisons, you can set this up for every category of your prisoners. So you could have light guys be in the yard while heavy are eating, and just keep moving it around like that. And that'll probably be important once you get into the late game or advanced prison making. can see our danger level is getting very low just because we don't need to worry too much thanks to those armed guards. Okay, let's see how he's doing in there. Okay. And now that we actually have our guards set up, let's open the prison back up for some high risk guys. Because we need the money. Alright, so the parole room is basically our way into the end game, or getting our grade. As we let prisoners be released, this will allow us... Look at them all just kind of stuck right here. That's some bad conditions right there, people. Okay, so with parole hearings, they basically can happen at 50% of their time served and 75%. So we're going to set up a parole room. Now what? Yeah, things are very nasty. There's probably some like human health violations going on. Okay, let's set up the parole board. Okay, someone's in therapy. It's one of the guys who just got killed, unfortunately. Let's see, let's buy some more land. We'll start another grant. Now, one thing about the game is that these grants are really the only ways to make a lot of money. So you are sort of limited in what you can do. You can also get a loan, but then of course you have to pay that back. Let's see, how are we doing? Groundskeeping we need. I think it's time to expand. As you can see, you can expand out quite a long ways, but it costs a lot of money. So we're going to use this to create a little common area for our prisoners. Still got 8 hours more of solitary. Alright, looks like we got one parole hearing for tomorrow. Let's move up to there, and that may be a good place to end things for tonight. This shows us how much we can sell shares of our prisoner, make more money. As you can see, our net worth is not doing so well. Here we go. This is the policy screen. This shows us how we can show basically the punishments for anything. So if someone does destruction, we can make it lockdown or solitary. Found weapons. We can change the quality of the meal, so this will affect their costs. But this is the important part, parole policy. Whenever a prisoner goes for parole, we decide at what percentage to let them go. So right now it's set at 33%. So if we look, where are they? Right here, he has a chance of 22% of reoffending. So if this guy was up for parole, we would let him out. But he's still got quite a long time for that. So we'll leave it at, let's make it 41% just for the hell of it. That's almost done over there. You know what? Let's expand the yard out. Maybe give them some more room to do things. Now will give me another time. We can also change the outdoor, make the ground paved. This will increase people's walking speed. Not required, but nice to have. Okay, is the common room almost done? Okay, let's see what we've got going on. Here, all of our guards are either resting or stationed or patrolling, so we only have anyone free. Prisoners are doing well there, at least right now. There we go, so we have one prisoner up for parole. So we got that set up here. That will happen very shortly. This guy's still in solitary. Well, that's one way to keep the most dangerous prisoner out of trouble. Okay, looks like they are getting contraband. We better check into that. Looks like someone is sneaking in drugs up there. It may be time to get some dogs in to sniff these things out. Okay, that's almost done there. Let's hire a gardener. There you go. That's 5 grand. Oh, someone died. Who was it? Oh, the prisoner who was OD'ing. Yeah, this is really not helping my grade. Okay, now that that's up, why are they not getting there? Okay, everyone's setting up in the parole room here. Okay, are there any other grants we can go for? That should help out there. Oh, 2 prisoners up for parole. Okay, let's see what we got. Okay, Matt and Gareth. Okay, what's going on here? This is one of the little things I find tricky sometimes, is getting these programs to work. Let's see. They're all going in solitary, just shoving them in there. Okay, I think with that, I think we've seen a lot here. I think we're going to call it, because I mean I could sit here and play for the next few hours. So, thank you for watching this episode. I know this wasn't the most exciting one. This is one of those games, probably city builders aren't the best to do live or record an episode with, just because they're pretty much a lot of just sitting here and watching. So for next week, I think we're going to either do some Infinite Factory or Invisible Ink as my original plan for tonight. So if you'd like to know more about Game Wisdom, make sure to check out game-wisdom.com. That's where I post a variety of pieces on game design as well as the industry. We also have weekly podcasts that go up on Friday. And it's also where you can also to contribute to our Patreon campaign or through a PayPal donation that will help me in terms of keeping the site up and supported, and may allow me to grow things and maybe improve these videos as well. So thank you for watching, have a great week, and I'll hopefully see some people on next Saturday. Take care.